Welcome folks to NASCAR MDK preview show. Today we're going to be reviewing one of the most prestigious races in all of motorsports, the Brickyard 400 from the famed Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now it's a preview show. This is the first time I'm doing it, and I'm going to give you guys kind of everything that you need to know and what I think of it as we move on into Indianapolis. Now I'll try to make this a weekly one. It'll be during the morning, or let's say if it's the race is during Sunday afternoon, it'll be uploaded Sunday morning. If it's Saturday night, it'll be uploaded Saturday afternoon. You know, kind of like a move on schedule, like preview and that. But yeah, folks, hope you guys enjoy it. But for now, let's get into it. Now let's go right now to the news at the track. Right now we have three big stories right now heading into Indianapolis. The first one, as you heard earlier today, Dale Earnhardt Jr. will not race this weekend at Indianapolis or next weekend at Pocono, and the team announced that Jeff Gordon, who hasn't raced in 240 days, like I said, who retired from NASCAR, will be his replacement for those two races. Now Jeff was strong during practice, practice 8th during first practice, but qualified 21st for today's race. Now another story we're talking about is Tony Stewart. Now you may have heard that Tony Stewart, this is his final race at the Brickyard 400. Tony Stewart announced that this year will be his final season cup competition, and Tony is a two-time winner of the Brickyard 400, and coming off a second place finish at New Hampshire and a fifth place finish at Kentucky. Tony also qualified third for today's race and has a great chance of taking home a third Brickyard 400 win. Now the final story we have coming up here at Indianapolis is 7 races left in the chase for NASCAR Sprint Cup. Trevor Bayne, Ryan Blaney, Casey King, Kyle Larson, and AJ Allmendinger, among others, are trying to win a race or at least get as much points as possible to get into the chase. And with Dale Jr. not racing this weekend due to concussion-like symptoms, the points will be mixed up very much after today's race. Now let's get on to the track facts today for Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Indianapolis is a 2.5-mile asphalt oval track with 4 turns with a banking of 9.2 degrees, and the lap record was set by Kevin Harvick in 2014 with a speed of 188 miles per hour. NASCAR has been running at this track since 1994 with its inaugural winner, Jeff Gordon. Now here's a look at the point standings for today's race as we head into Indianapolis today. 11 drivers are right now automatically locked into the chase right now, with Tony Stewart being the recent one added. Chase Elliott has a 52-point cushion ahead of Dale Earnhardt Jr. Meanwhile, Trevor Bayne is 14 points out of the cut line, with Ryan Blaney being 16 points out, Casey King being 22 points out, and Kyle Larson being 22 points out. However, like I said, with Dale Jr. not racing today due to concussion-like symptoms, the point standings will definitely change after today's race. Now let's head into the starting grid for today's race at the Brickyard 400. On the pole for today's race is Kyle Busch. Right next to him is his teammate Carl Edwards. Right now, all 11 chase drivers are inside the top 14. Also, another Joe Gibbs Racing teammate, Denny Hamlin, qualified 4th for today's race, and an incredible run by Tony Stewart, who qualified 3rd for today's race. Now we're going to go on to the bubble drivers. Jay McMurray and Kyle Larson, Chip Ganassi Racing teammates, qualified inside the top 10 in 9th and 10th. Chase Elliott, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. make up row 8th, and Jeff Gordon, making his first Sprint Cup start since Homestead last year, qualifies 21st. Casey King, another one of those drivers on the bubble, qualified deep in the field in 26th. And here are the rest of the drivers. Eric Almirola qualifies 29th, and Casey Mears, who was 3rd practice in the first practice session, qualifies 34th for today's race. Now here's the odds to win. This is for entertainment purposes only. The odds to win at Indianapolis, Joey Logano's right now at the top of the charts with a 7-to-1 chance of winning, with Penske teammate Brad Keselowski as well as Carl Edwards and Jimmy Johnson sitting at an 8-to-1 chance. JGR drivers sitting at a 10-to-1 chance. That is Matt Kenseth and others. As we move on to the second page, Kevin Harvick with a 13-to-2 chance, as well as Martin Truex Jr. And surprisingly, 5-time Brickyard 400 winner Jeff Gordon sitting at a 15-to-1 chance, as well as Kurt Busch. Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson, one of those chase bubble drivers, both with an 18-to-1 chance. Now Tony Stewart, a 2-time Brickyard 400 winner, is considered a dark horse for today's race, as he has a 25-to-1 chance of winning at Indianapolis. Now let's check out the highs and lows for today's race. The first one, we're gonna start with the high. Tony Stewart, like I said, like I talked about. One person to watch out, like I said, is Tony Stewart. He has 2 career wins at Indianapolis Motor Speedway. One in 2005 and the other in 2007. He has also ran very well during both practice sessions. First practice 8th, the second one 24th though, but he qualified 3rd for today's race. And I just have this feeling that Tony Stewart will have a shot at winning today's race. Now, one driver that I don't think that you might want to be careful of picking if you're picking a driver in your boxes, Denny Hamlin might be one that you might want to be careful about. He has 1 win, but that was back all the way in February in the Daytona 500. Now, even though he qualified 4th for today's race and was 2nd fastest, the past few weeks I haven't seen Denny Hamlin contend for wins like the other Joe Gibbs racing drivers. Like last weekend at New Hampshire, Mike Kenseth won the race. I did not hear anything about Hamlin at all. I did not see him contend for wins in the past few weeks. I don't think he's going to do it again this week. Now, I got a dark horse you want to look out for today, and that is Kyle Larson, who qualifies 10th for today's race. He won the truck race at Eldora on Wednesday and came close to winning in the Xfinity race at Indy. Now, Larson qualified today's race in 10th, like I said, and was 17th fastest in the first practice session and 3rd in the second practice session. As well, this track has been good to Kyle Larson. In the past 2 races at Indianapolis, he has finished inside the top 10 in both races. Now, let's get on as we crunch the numbers to see the top drivers you should watch out for at Indianapolis.
Yeah, this is certainly something that I've been thinking about for years. Rick and I have talked about for a number of years. You're always trying to, when you get to this point in your career, and you've done as much as we've done as a team, of trying to figure out when that right time to step away. I always said that I wanted to step away on my own terms if possible, and I want to be competitive out there, and I would hope that I could do that all the way through my final year.
However, if Dale is not able to go in Indianapolis, we will put Jeff Gordon in the car.
With Dale Earnhardt Jr. sidelined for today's race at the Breakout 400 due to concussion-like symptoms, 4-time Sprint Cup Series champion Jeff Gordon will take over his spot, and Jeff Gordon is a master at Indianapolis.
Racing history books, years from today when 79 stock car races have been run here, will remember the name. Jeff Gordon, winner of the inaugural Brickyard 400. And just to make it absolutely official, at 65 miles an hour behind the pace car, Jeff Gordon wins the 1998 Brickyard 400.
And becomes a 3-time winner of the Brickyard 400 at Indianapolis. Jeff Gordon wins the Brickyard 400 for a 4th time, a dominating performance today by Gordon. He won the first one in 1994. 20 years later, he wins the 21st. Checkered flag in the Brickyard 400 to Jeff Gordon.
Yeah, buddy.
Jeff, coming out of retirement, has the most wins now of any driver, with a record of 5 career wins at the Brickyard, with the most recent being in 2014. However, Jeff Gordon hasn't been in the car since November 2013. But like Jeff said, even though he's still old, he can still do it.
Yeah, next year will be my last year in the Sprint Cup Series.
Sprint Cup champion Tony Stewart.
Yeah, Danielle, Smoke has been hospitalized with a back injury following what team officials have described as a non-racing accident while riding an ATV on the West Coast. The accident occurred on Sunday afternoon. The 44-year-old is awake and alert and has been able to move all extremities. Stewart was in Scottsdale, Arizona on Saturday night for the Barrett-Jackson auction.
After missing the first 8 races of the Sprint Cup season, people thought that Tony Stewart's Swanson season would not end like Jeff Gordon's. But then Sonoma came.
I mean, we knew he was having, issues
Here we go.
with the car.
Stewart inside. He is there. He gets Hamlin. They hit. And Stewart comes off turn 11. Look at that. He's coming to the flag.
How did that
Tony Stewart. How did that happen?
Because of that, Tony Stewart is now back in chase contention, and for the first time in 4 years, Tony Stewart and his swan-song season will have a shot at winning the championship. Now, Tony is no stranger to success at Indianapolis. He's a Hoosier native and is a two-time winner of the Brickyard 400. And he's going to try and claim after a second place finish at New Hampshire. Tony Stewart has a full head of momentum to try and claim his third Brickyard 400. Now, my pick for today's race will be Jimmie Johnson 4-day car. Like I said, folks, he's a 4-time Sprint Cup Series champion, and he was amazing during first practice. Was a full second ahead of the second place driver, Denny Hamlin, in the first practice session. Remember, he was first fast. Now, even though he qualified 13th for today's race, he is a 4-time champion at the Brickyard 400. And even though he's been in a bit of a slump, I just have this feeling that during Brickyard 400 weekend, he seems to just pull out that slump and win those type of races. So my pick will be Jimmie Johnson. So that's it for the NASCAR MDK preview show. If you guys want to do more of these, leave a like down below. And thank you guys so much for watching. And for now, the 2016 Brickyard 400 is about to start. Hope you guys enjoyed the race. It's NASCAR MDK. I'll see you in the next video.